All right, we are back for part two. Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of new people, maybe they're shocked by the things that I'm saying on this channel. And the most shocking statement that I've made ever is that I wish dogs were exterminated, lawfully exterminated. This needs to be a joint campaign. Everybody on the planet should participate. When I say everybody, I mean all world governments, law enforcement, and the laws should even give citizens the right to help exterminate these worthless mutants, right? This is something that literally has to be done. It has to be done. It will be done eventually. There is no way that this particular culture, there's no way that it could stand the test of time. It cannot. It cannot. This truth that we speak here on this channel will resonate always and forever. There is no way to get rid of it. You cannot destroy it. You cannot get rid of it. The pro-dog philosophies, they cannot compete with it. We have an irrefutable argument that cannot be debunked at all. Right? So this is inevitable. It is inevitable. And I want to, many of you are fully aware, I've called out several experts. They refuse to take me up on my offer. So what I have to do is I have to go out and find the experts myself. I have to look for their material myself and deal with their argument that way. Matter of fact, I really prefer it this way. You know, I really don't like real debates unless there is a moderator, because there has to be rules. While one person speaks, the other listens. But fortunately, in the internet era, we have trainers who share their training online. And this is the best they have. Right? Keep in mind, this is from dog trainers, certified dog trainers, people who profess that this is their profession. So let's hear what they have to say. Again, there is no solution to the dog problem. When I say dog problem, I'm mainly talking about dog attacks, because that's the strongest argument against their existence. A close second would be the contamination of our water. But dog attacks are literally the worst problem, especially attacks on children. So let's deal with what the experts have to say. Now, I believe I've played material from this individual before, but this is a different video. Let's hear what he has to say.
If you'd like me to personally answer any questions you may have about your dog, be sure to head over to brightdog.com, where you can learn about my online training program, plus pick up a copy of the official Bright Dog Academy ebook. Children and dogs can be a great combination, and it can also be a horrible combination. It's all about, the adults, us teaching the children what is a.
So as you see, once again, as always, whenever they talk about children and dogs, they start the conversation off talking about the kids' behavior. They always, this is religious, it's religious. They always blame the child. Always. Now, the crazy part about that is the sheer number of videos that we've watched here on this channel. It's too many to remember. I've shown an endless number of videos showing children being attacked. And every time they're attacked for no reason at all. But let's allow this man to continue.
Allowed and what's not allowed, because if we don't teach our children, and we're not a great combination, and it can also be a horrible combination. It's all about, the adults, us teaching the children what is allowed and what's not allowed, because if we don't teach our children and we're not responsible for their actions when they're around dogs, we're asking for something bad to happen. Whenever you see videos of dogs biting children or hear about it in the news, 99% of the time, those things could have been completely avoided. It's human error, adult error, more importantly. So I want to teach you guys just some basic rules that we need to follow when we have children, young children, and dogs, especially large dogs. So the first rule is that we never, ever leave our children alone and unsupervised with large dogs, or any dogs rather. Young children, let's say 10 years and younger, okay? And even that's maybe 13 years and younger. We never ever leave them alone because we simply just can't trust them.
Wait, you can't trust who? Can't trust the dog or can't trust the child? That's an important question. When you start a conversation off like this, you have two parties, and you start off by saying, well, you can't trust them, meaning you can't trust one of the parties. Which party are you talking about? And is that a credible argument? Is it credible? What do you base it on? Right, now let's allow him to continue.
We simply just can't trust them. You can teach them and explain to them that when the dog's licking their lips, don't go near them. That when the dog...
There you go. There you go. He is blaming the kids once, as always. This is a part of dog nut culture. Again, this goes directly against virtually every piece of footage available online. And there are numerous videos that show kids not long ago on a live stream. There was a compilation that I showed right here online. Several dog attacks on one video. Attacks on kids where those kids did absolutely nothing to those dogs. Many times the kids didn't even know the dogs were present until the dogs actually came up and started attacking them. You understand? So we can't rely on these so-called experts to fix this. The only way to fix this problem is to exterminate the dogs themselves. Now let's listen to some more of this filth. This guy really disgusts me, right? I played another one of his disgusting videos before in the past. Very repugnant individual this is.
Explain to them that when the dog's licking their lips, don't go near them. That when the dog is starting to yawn, don't go near them. That don't hug the dog, but there's no guarantee that the kid's not going to hug the dog. So we have to be very careful. It's very easy to set up our children for success and set up the dog for success simply by not leaving them alone. This is the most common time that dogs and children, there's an incident between them, is when they're left unsupervised. Our 5-year-old can say that he wasn't doing anything and the dog just bit him for no reason. That's never true. There's always a reason why dogs bite.
Did you hear this piece of filth? I'm going to play that again. Did you hear that? Listen.
That's never true. There's always a reason why dogs bite.
Really? Yes, he said that. This is one of their experts. This is the best they have to offer. People with these types of narratives. He said there is always a reason why dogs bite. What reasons are you talking about there, buddy? Are you talking about the mutt was simply ill? Was it sick? Oh, it had a scratch on its paw? That's the reason? Was it predatory aggression? The child minding his or her own business, right? Walking, running across the room and was attacked for it. Those are one of the reasons, right? Because those are the reasons why dogs attack, according to you all. Show of dominance. You telling me that's a reason? One of these reasons why dogs attack? Isn't the decision to attack someone simply to show dominance over them, isn't that no reason at all? That's no reason at all. And dogs are wired to attack simply to show dominance. So how can you, as a so-called expert, fix your mouth to say that there is always a reason why dogs attack? It is sad that someone with no education as a dog trainer is able to dismember the argument put forth by the so-called experts. This is pretty ridiculous. What are these reasons that he's talking? Possessive aggression? Maybe it was a loud sound that the dog heard, and that is what you are giving the dog credit for as a reason why it attacked. This is absolute madness. Maybe it was just a sudden movement. Maybe the child was sitting on the sofa perfectly still and suddenly stood up and it was attacked. Child was then attacked by the dog for standing up. Because that's one of the reasons why dogs attack. So you can't listen to these experts. These people are completely out of their minds. Out of their minds. Just because someone has had education and they call themselves an expert, you cannot trust them. You're better off trusting your common sense. Was the dog frustrated? Is that one of the reasons this guy is talking about? Why the mutt attack? It's very important that we tackle that point because a lot of these dog nuts, they soak that nonsense right up. They hear it, they say, oh, he's an expert, he said it, so it must be true.
Hey everyone,
no, it is nonsense, right? But let's allow this guy to continue.
Why dogs bite. So for your children's safety, for other children's safety who comes over, if you have a dog, we never leave them alone.
Now, notice he said for the children's safety, not for the dog's safety, the children's safety. So what is he admitting? Essentially, he is admitting that when a child is in a home with a dog, there is only one party in danger. That is the child. The dog is not in danger at all. Yet another powerful reason to exterminate these worthless mutants. They are always putting others in danger, but the dogs themselves are never in danger.
Okay, that is rule number one. We never leave our dogs alone with children. Number two is trying our best to teach our children the warning signs so they know.
Here you go again. Once again, he's touching on the subject, an issue that has to do with the children. in their behavior. Nothing about the dog whatsoever. How about we teach children to stay away from dogs? To ask their friends if they have a dog when they are invited, and to refuse to go over their home if they say yes, right? Refuse to bring a dog inside the home. That's the only true solution, right? But we're going to allow this so-called dog trainer to further dig himself into a hole.
What to look for, and just general rules for how they should interact with dogs. One of the biggest things that we need to teach them is we don't hug dogs. That's one of the
He said one of the biggest things is don't hug the dogs, right? I just wanted to make sure people heard what he said.
that we need to teach them is we don't hug dogs. That's one of the most common things that I see little kids doing is going up hugging dogs. Dogs display all the warning signs, and then what happens? The child gets bit, and then the dog gets put down because the dog was aggressive.
Yeah, and it was aggressive. They are aggressive. They're the most aggressive animals on this planet. So he says one of the biggest problems is hugging dogs. Well, another problem is that this society promotes kids hugging dogs, like I showed yesterday. This is even promoted by the Humane Society. And this is a question I raised a while ago. Why do we not see experts like this guy speaking out against the Humane Society? Why is it just people like me? Where are the experts criticizing the Humane Society? These people promote kids hugging dogs. What are you talking about? In fact, on these videos of actual attacks, you never see the child hugging the dog prior to the attack. So it's not only ridiculous, it's not true. The attacks that we see on video is of kids minding their own business. We just had multiple cases just this week of kids in their yard playing, not even playing with the dog. And the dog comes from an entirely different home, from someone else's property, comes onto their property in their yard and attacks the child. Again, multiple cases this week alone. So, man, what are you talking about? So it's not only ridiculous that these people don't criticize the society in general like I do. The Humane Societies, massive organizations. No, you want to talk at some mythological scenario where kids are being attacked after they try to hug a mutt. When in reality, these parents are exposing these kids to danger, and most of these attacks happen when the child is not paying any attention to these worthless mutts. We are allowing these experts to ignore one of the key behavioral patterns of dogs, and that is for dogs to attack for no reason. To see someone's child from a distance, travel over to them and attack them. We will not ignore that behavior on this channel. All you dog nuts, if you want to be comforted by ignorance, you're not going to find that on this channel. I know many of you come to this channel looking for a weak argument to pounce all over. You're not going to find it here. So this is nonsense that the kids need to look for warning signs. And about that too, right? That is also something that he brought up. The kids need to know how to look for warning signs. In virtually all of those videos I've shown already, there were no warning signs. What kind of warning sign can you look for when a mutt runs from a distance out of nowhere and attacks you. They're talking about specific situations, a family dog where everybody's in one room and everybody's looking at the mutt. Life does not work that way. People are usually minding their own business, and they don't have time to be staring at no ugly, goofy looking mutt.
That I see little kids doing is going up, hugging dogs, dogs displaying all the warning signs, and then what happens? The child gets bit, and then the dog gets put down because the dog was aggressive, and that's not the case at all.
What do you mean that's not the case? How can you have a creature mutilate a child and dare call that dog non-aggressive? Are you out of your mind? Let me ask you, can the child do that to the dog? Can the child send that dog to the hospital torn to pieces? What are you talking about? These mutts are dangerous, man. Can you believe, again, it's an expert. This is a so-called expert spewing this rubbish, madness.
So, teaching them, our children, signs to look for. Check out the whole warning signs video, but real quick. Licking the lips, yawning, blinking rapidly, looking away.
But dude, what makes you think a 5-year-old is going to look for that stuff? And going to be able to identify? Are you out of your mind? This dude is an absolute fool. A fool. It's scary to know that the average citizen goes up to idiots like this, believing they're talking to some specialist. This dude is an absolute idiot.
Complete avoidance, trying to get away from the child. All of these things are warning signs. Now again, we can't expect a 5-year-old to reliably look for those things, which is why we never leave them alone with dogs. But
so what are you talking about? Why don't you just shut up? How about that? We already debunked this idea of never leaving them alone. That's another thing. Most attacks happen when the parent is present. So the problem is what? The problem is the presence of the dog. Supervision does not work. We're going to get deeper into that because we got another so-called expert who tries to say the same thing.
It's a good idea to try to start teaching them those things. Now, we teach them rules, like no hugging dogs. They actually did a study with children, and they asked them, what does it mean when a dog is baring their teeth at you? Like that. And they showed them a picture. And 70% of kids said the dog is smiling and wants a hug. The reality, the dog is baring his teeth as a, as a warning sign, saying, get away. I'm 1 second away from biting you.
Now, wait a minute. If 70% of kids misinterpret threats from dogs, doesn't that suggest that dogs have no business around kids? Doesn't it? If it requires a mature mind to spot these subtle things, what does that tell you? It tells you they have no place in our society. It doesn't tell you anything other than that these mutts are incompatible with human territory.
Okay, so we need to teach them, if we have children or having children come over, we want to teach them the rules and try our best to teach them about dogs and what is, what is allowed and what's not allowed, okay? Another thing to keep in mind with children, why there's sometimes a problem with dogs, is children are loud and they move quickly. To dogs, that can get their prey drive going.
Whoa, whoa. Pump the brakes, buddy. Pump the brakes, buddy. This dude said fast movement. Fast movement. Once again, blaming the child. And once again, how is this some sort of reason? How is this acceptable? This is totally unacceptable. You cannot restrict a child's movement. You expect kids to tiptoe around the house, to tiptoe around outside. Play is a child's work. This is what I'm saying. The development of human beings is incompatible with dogs. When we're kids, we're play. We need to get out of this habit of looking at kids as if they are some sort of different species. We all used to be kids. We're not talking about the development of kids. We're talking about the development of ourselves, of human beings. Play is a child's work. That's how we learn to discover the world. It helps our brains to develop, right? So to ask kids to not move fast, that is unreasonable. That's totally unreasonable. The only answer is to never ever bring mutts into our society. Not just our home, into our society at all. Just this week as well, numerous reports of dogs breaking free off of their property. Happens all the time. I would say maybe even 50% of the time that dogs attack, that mutt broke free from its property somehow. Either jumped over a fence or crawled underneath a fence, crawled through a crack or whatever. These things have no business in human territory.
When small children start running around, prey drive is something in dogs that it's what makes them want to chase movement. It's what makes movement very exciting to them. And this is, if you're a little kid.
What? What did this idiot just say? Let's listen to that again.
Prey drive is something in dogs that it's what makes them want to chase movement. It's what makes movement very exciting to them. And this is
Prey drive makes movement very exciting to them. Okay, I understand what he's trying to say. The dog sees a child running and instinctually it wants to chase and attack. So again, what does that tell you? The only thing that tells you is that dogs have no business in human territory.
Prey drive is something in dogs that it's what makes them want to chase movement. It's what makes movement very exciting to them. And this is, if you're a little kid that's running around screaming, that's a very easy way for a dog to get worked up. The dog thinks that the child wants to play.
Just constantly. This bumbling, stuttering idiot can't even get these lies out straight. He's given 3 answers. And in each one, he is strictly, exclusively blaming the child. This is some sick, evil, demented behavior. This is a sick, disgusting cult. It has to be stopped. Has to be stopped. The very first governor of any city or state that bans dogs, I am going to give them a shout out from this channel. They're going to have my full support. It is a shame that we don't have not one politician anywhere in this country that wants to ban dogs. And you know what? They really couldn't. Right? Let me just make that clear. They couldn't do that. It's just too many dog nuts in the world. They wouldn't be elected from the door. But I'd like to see one sneak in the office somehow. I take my hat off to all businesses, institutions that say no dogs allowed. These are large rodents, and they are the most aggressive creatures, most aggressive living creatures on this planet. And this guy has the nerve to blame the most harmless creatures on this planet. There is literally nothing more harmless than a child, a toddler, a prepubescent boy or girl. And you have the nerve, you filthy animal. That's all these people are, is pieces of trash. You have the nerve to blame the child. Unbelievable.
And the dog goes running over and knocks the kid over. So we want to keep this in mind that when you have children over, we want to try to teach them to be calm around dogs. If that's not going to be the case, let's not risk an incident, and we simply just put the dog, outside, or put them in a different room, and just isolate them, because it's not worth the risk. So many times I have seen and read and heard of incidents happening, and they can all be prevented.
You're a liar. You're a flat out, bold faced, stuttering, nervous, idiotic liar. We specialize in covering dog attacks on this channel, you idiot. We specialize in it. I've shown dozens of videos of kids being attacked. Man, we see the situations. Nobody bothering these mutts. Most often, these kids are standing in one spot. These kids are not pulling on no mutt. They're not pulling on its ears, its tail. They're not walking up to it trying to hug it. They're minding their own business. What are you talking about? It is sad that you don't even need to be educated. All you need to do is play a few videos of the dog attacks to make the dog experts look like idiots. Idiots. And this is why these dog experts, these dog behaviorists never take me up on my offer, because they know what's going to happen in a debate. Like, they know. Right? Now let's allow this idiot to continue, to finish. He's almost done.
The biggest thing that it comes down to is we never leave our dogs alone with, children unsupervised, okay? So these are just some tips for people who have children, if you have children coming over with dogs. Just some tips to try to keep everybody safe.
And that's the end. That's all this idiot had to say. How pathetic is that? All you dog nuts, are you proud of this? This was one of your experts. This was basically a debate between one of your experts and myself, right? Shout out to, who is that? The brother in the super chat. People, I need help. Help me out. What is wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people? Who's that? Jonathan Payne, longtime follower, supporter of this channel. Thank you very much. Why is it not embarrassing for so-called experts to get up and spew this nonsense? What makes these people so confident and sounding so foolish? This is mind-blowing stuff, people. Now, usually when a so-called expert talks about something, I'm overwhelmed by their knowledge of it. Have you ever heard a mechanic break down a problem in a car and tell you what's wrong and what you need to do to fix it? You're in awe. It's like, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. But when you listen to these dog experts, these people sound like maniacs, absolute maniacs. And nobody's embarrassed. And it's funny, these dog nuts listen to people like this and they're proud, right? First thing they want to do, go outside and spread this nonsense to other dog nuts. So that was an epic failure. That was an epic failure by one of their experts. So before we get into this other guy's nonsense, I want to check some of these comments, because really there is no way I can fully break down these people's insanity. I need other opinions. I have to have other. You people, you have no idea how many of my videos were based on comments I've read from people in the comment section. Really, the people in the comment section may have contributed to more content on this channel than I have independently. But the madness, the insanity that comes from these people, I am telling you, it gets so infuriating sometimes because there's just no excuse for it. No excuse whatsoever. Somebody said, didn't know how crazy dog owners were till I actually saw having, yeah, yeah. And that's another thing I need to accept myself, that we can never really understand these people's mentality. We're talking about people who have intercourse with dogs, who kiss dogs, who allow dogs to lick inside of their mouth and all this nonsense. These people already in the state of mind is just totally unstable, totally inhumane, disgusting. But it's unbelievable to me how much he gets paid to stand there. Absolute nonsense. Yeah, yeah. Well, this guy, I played one of his videos before. He's all over the internet spewing this nonsense. But these guys are real dog trainers. They have links to their websites and all kinds of stuff, right? It's very infuriating. Yes, very infuriating. Dogs do something good. Yeah, I actually went over ZL86. I actually went over that before already. When the dog is behaving in a way that's acceptable to the dog nuts, all of a sudden the dog itself is a good dog, right? Good boy. Look at how well behaved the dog is. But then when the dog attacks, suddenly all of a sudden, what was this? Thank you, Glenn. Suddenly all of a sudden, it's not the dog's fault. Oh, the dog attacks. Well, it's not the dog's fault. The dog acts well behaved. Oh, it's all the dog responsible for this. Cannot have it both ways. These people are out of their minds. So that is one dog expert down. Let's hear what this other guy has to say.
Talk about something that's a little bit different. We're going to talk about our two-legged and our four-legged family members. Now, through the
two-legged and four-legged, I got to stop him right there, people. This is so disgusting, and we need to start calling this out as well. These people will stop. You will stop comparing dogs to humans. Stop it. You will not bring humans down to the level of no mutt. Two-legged, four-legged. You're talking about humans, and you're talking about the lowest, filthiest, most worthless creature on the planet, that is dogs. Even insects are more important and valuable to this planet than dogs. So let's stop that. We have no four-legged family members. None. These things are not a part of the human family.
Magic of video editing. We are in the agility arena here at McCann Professional Dog Trainers, and I'm here today with McCann head instructor Steve Walsh. I'm Ken Steep. Welcome.
So he's the head instructor, people. This is an entire dog training facility. I am looking for the biggest, most respected experts they have to offer. This guy's YouTube channel has over, I think, 500,000 subscribers. Either 300 or 500,000, something like that. Huge subscriber base. This is a real dog trainer, and they run a dog training facility. So let's hear what this guy has to say.
Back to McCann Dogs.
Hey guys, how are you? Steve from McCann Professional Dog Trainers here. You might remember me from such videos as The Gentle Leader.
So today Instructor Steve's going to talk to us about the Gentle Leader.
Or the Dundas Cactus Festival.
I'm here with Instructor Steve, who organizes a lot of this event.
And I wanted to talk to you today about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart, and that's about kids and dogs. I have a 4-year-old son at home, and from the time that he came home from the hospital, it was important to me to make sure that his interactions with our dogs, as well as other dogs that come in through the house, were fantastic for both him and the dogs. And we get a lot of questions in our classes, as well as through email and the phones in our office about how...
Look at this. They have secretaries. They have people working the phones, people. This is the very best type of expert you can find. Let's hear what this big bad man has to say.
Make those interactions.
Right, we challenge you here. Crusaders challenge you. right? You're up. Go ahead and make your case.
As positive as possible. And if there's one consistent thing I can encourage everybody to do to really help make their interactions as safe as they possibly can be, it's direct supervision. Now, when it comes to supervision, there's a lot of versions of what supervision means. And to me, what that means is being right there with that puppy or that older dog.
Mistake number one, right? Believe it or not, people, he is spewing the same talking points as the most ignorant of all dog nuts. Supervision. Many of you, you can complete this for me. We have shown the information, the reports. The majority of dog attacks on kids take place when the parent is present. The presence of an adult has proven ineffective by even your own experts. Please stop with this supervision nonsense. Stop it. Okay, so mistake number one, he's already hurt his credibility. And this is the biggest, baddest expert they can come with.
And that child, and making sure that I am there to both help the child learn how to interact with the dog and make sure that the dog feels safe. And if the dog's getting a little worried, allow the dog a place to go. I put a lot of onus on my dogs to accept a lot of different behaviors, but in that learning stage, it's critical that I reassure them that anything that's out of their comfort zone is okay. They don't need to react, and I can also move that stimulus away. If my young son is coming up to them, especially when he was learning to walk, he would come up and maybe he reached or grabbed. That may be off.
So there he goes again. Just like the other so-called experts, what? Blaming the child. Blaming the child. A narrative that is not supported by literally no piece of footage whatsoever. People, not only have the videos that we've watched on this channel proven that these kids are not bothering these dogs when they're attacked, we hear it in almost every single report on the news, in these articles. In virtually every article, you hear someone say it was unprovoked, that the child had done nothing to the dog. So where are they getting this from? People, I'm telling you, they are pulling this crap out of thin air. They are making it up, completely making it up. Where else are they getting it from? If they're not getting it from the news reports, which they are not, and they're not getting it from the video footage, which they are not. So where are they getting this from? These people are habitual liars, pathological liars. We have to start calling them out on it. When you hear them spew this nonsense, you put this in their face. It is not supported by a video or any news reports.
Coming up to them, especially when he was learning to walk, he would come up and maybe he reached or grabbed. That may be off-putting for some dogs. So maybe I could stabilize him, prevent him from falling down, and give the dog the support that they need to realize that they don't have to worry about maybe some of that erratic movement that some of those little toddlers do around the house. Because
erratic movement that some of those toddlers do around the house. You piece of filth. You disgusting piece of filth. Just like his buddy, he's blaming the child, nothing but the child.
we're supervising all the time, it's very hard to get through life supervising your dog and your child 24/7. Believe me, I have learned this. So it's important that if you can't supervise directly, take the opportunity to put that dog in their crate, let them have a safe little place while you do what you need to.
Oh my God, you know what? I really don't trust people who talk to me with this smirk on their face, smiling while you're talking to me. Excuse me. What are you smiling at? This is nothing funny about what we're talking about here. Kids getting attacked every day, killed almost every day, definitely every week. What are you smiling about? You know, I think he's smiling. People like him, they like to smile when they're lying, when they're being dishonest, when they're trying to deceive you. I just don't like his overall tone at all. And what is going on with this? They edited a heart right here. I really hate, I despise when they do stuff like this. Yet more of an attempt to make the dog look harmless, to make the most aggressive, dangerous creature on the planet look harmless. It's just a brainwashing tactic. You have to know these tactics and point them out.
To do with the kid. Give them a bath, maybe change a diaper, all those things that maybe not the most fun, but require a little bit more of your focus being on the child. Now, if you have any concerns about your crate or you're experiencing those kind of issues, I'll put a link somewhere up here or over there to another video on our YouTube channel that can help you with some of those points as well. Now, one of the common questions we do get is, my son or daughter really wants to hug our cute little puppy. It looks like such a cute little stuffed animal. And hugs for people are great, they are fantastic, but dogs can be a little bit worried about that.
Oh my God. You could have predicted this. You could have predicted it yourself. That you were going to hear the same thing from this so-called expert that you heard from the other idiot, only in a different way. Once again, he refers to hugging the dog. Once again, he's talking about it is something the child did to provoke the attack.
That can make them feel a little bit confined, feel a little bit trapped, and they can react, and that they can react in several different ways. And one of the best ways they can react is simply by moving away if they get uncomfortable.
Isn't it? It is. I'm sorry to pause this so many times. Isn't it scary? It is very creepy. We're listening to people who are sacrificing their kids' lives. To hear members of a child sacrificial cult try to justify the presence of the murderers of our kids, this is very eerie, very creepy. The ridiculousness of their argument really stands out when you keep that close in mind. They're just trying to justify the sacrifice of their kids. And in each scenario, it is a sacrifice, because all adults know full well that the dog is capable of killing, of mutilating, and they make a decision right there at the animal shelter or wherever they're getting the mutt from. They make a decision then and there that the presence of the dog is more important than the child's safety from the dog. So they sacrifice the child's safety for the dog. If the dog attacks, oh well, that's horrible, that's too bad, life goes on.
They need a place to go. So I discourage my son from wrapping those arms around that cute puppy because we may not know how they react at that point. Now, even with my dogs, I take great pride in the amount of training that my dogs have, and they are very reliable in how they react in all situations. But that doesn't mean I take that for granted and allow those dogs and kids to kind of hang out and do whatever they need to do, okay? I am right there because let's remember, dogs are still dogs. They're not robots. Even though we train them and we have our best intentions, we're looking for reliability, but they're never perfect. They are still going to be animals, so we need to be there to help them all the time. Now, not only do I need to help...
What do you mean help them? Help the dog? No. You need to be there to prevent that mutt from mauling your child. You see how they try to hide the truth behind a bunch of harmless language? Dogs are still dogs. We have to remember they're still animals. So we have to make sure that we're always there to help them. No, you idiot, you deceptive liar. You have to be there so that the mutt does not maul the kids.
Liability, but they're never perfect. They are still going to be animals, so we need to be there to help them all the time. Now, not only do I need to help my son and my dogs interact together, but I need to have my son understand how to meet dogs on the street, because we see lots of dogs in our neighborhood. We live in a fantastic part of the world.
Wow. Just like his buddy. Did you hear what he said? Let me rewind it.
Understand how to meet dogs on the street, because we see lots of dogs in our neighborhood. We live in a fantastic...
Kids need to understand how to meet dogs in the street. This liar is suggesting that attacks happen because kids see a dog, an unfamiliar dog on the street, and they go up to try to hug it or interact with it, which is a lie. As we all know, the majority of attacks are from the family dog. The family dog. It's not some strange dog that they saw on the street.
My dogs, I take great pride in the amount of training that my dogs have, and they are very reliable in how they react in all situations. But that doesn't mean I take that for granted and allow those dogs and kids to kind of hang out and do whatever they need to do, okay? I am right there, because let's remember, dogs are still dogs. They're not robots. Even though we train them and we have our best intentions, we're looking for reliability, but they're never perfect. They are still going to be animals, so we need to be there to help them all the time. Now, not only do I need to help my son and my dogs interact together, but I need to have my son understand how to meet dogs on the street, because we see lots of dogs in our neighborhood. We live in a fantastic part of the world where there are dogs everywhere. And I spoke to his class not too long ago about how to do that. He's in junior kindergarten now. And everybody knows the main steps. Everybody says ask the owner first. But we're missing one important step before that. If my son wants to go and say hi to another dog, he has to ask me first. And I encourage you to have your kids ask you, the parent, the guardian, whoever's in charge first, if it's okay to go over and say hi to that dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to pet my dog? Sure, go right ahead. Child walks up to pet the dog latches on to the child. What good is supervision at that point? Like I said, there's nothing to protect the child from the dog when you let the dog into the child's presence, the child's vicinity. The problem is the presence of the dog. The solution is to remove the dog. It is as simple as that.
And if at that point it's okay, go over with them. Ask the dog owner at that point. Now, our initial thought, and the kids really want to reach out and give those dogs a nice little pet, but remember, we need to let the dogs come to us. So encourage those kids to maybe open up.
Kids, all you youngsters listening to this, you don't get anything out of hugging or kissing or petting no worthless, stinking, nasty mutt. Do not let these adults try to convince you to do that. It does nothing for you. All it does for you is put you in danger. It just puts your life and well-being at risk. That's all it does. The dog doesn't even know what you're doing. They are not receptive to being petted on, to being rubbed, to being hugged. As two so-called experts already told you, dogs don't even like to be hugged. They don't interpret that as affection the way humans do. If your parents ask you to hug a dog, tell them you would rather hug another human being. Tell them no. Tell them you don't like dogs and you stay away from those worthless mutts. Because over 2.5 million of you kids will be bitten every single year. Don't be one of them.
Hold the hand out with an open palm, let that dog have a little sniff, let them come to you. If they're comfortable, maybe a little scratch under the chin, maybe a little tickle in the ear, but that's about it. We don't want to overwhelm a dog that we may not know, or may not know how they may react to our kids. Now in this short video, it's hard to cover all aspects of kids and dogs together, but remember, through our direct supervision, we can help create a safe and comfortable environment for both our two-legged and four-legged family members.
I want to thank McCann Head Instructor
This is unbelievable stuff to me, people. You know, last night when I was going through these videos looking for, and I'm desperately looking for experts who share their opinion, their expertise. All I could do is shake my head at this. Could not believe that this is all they have to offer. All they have to offer is the same debunked rhetoric, nonsense that is not supported by reality whatsoever. Blaming kids for being attacked is pure evil. It is absolute pure evil, people. I think I shared this yesterday. If I didn't, I intended on sharing it. But these people had this dog for 4 years. They started a GoFundMe. This baby was attacked by the family dog of 4 years. Her name was Miracle. Killed by the family dog. This story was published March 19th. That was just yesterday. So this is very frequent these mutants attack babies. Now you look at this baby, can't even walk yet, still in a walker, people. Do you think this child ran up to a mutt to hug it? Do you think she did anything to that mutt? Little toddlers, 1-year-old in a walker, they're not going to go up to no mutt to do nothing. This baby was attacked for absolutely no reason at all. So these long drawn out explanations given by these brainless so-called experts don't apply to this child's situation, does not apply to any of these kids' situation, because none of them are attacked after having provoked any of these worthless mutts. And if any of them did try to hug that mutt, guess what? That's still your fault, not the child's fault. Hugging is a natural, harmless human behavior. We don't care what the dog will interpret it as. If the dog is not receptive to what we consider affection, then you need to get that worthless mutt out of here. You understand? So this is embarrassing. And all of you dog nuts, you should feel embarrassed. Now, many of you right here on YouTube, you have to skip some of these ads. This is one of those skippable ads. Many of you might recognize it immediately. But this is yet another dog expert, right? Let's hear what this guy has to say. I'm giving them as much of a chance as I possibly can. I'm going to multiple dog experts. We've listened to 2 out of 3 so far, and we've had 2 failures. Let's see how this guy does.
Off. There are no untrainable dogs, just untrained humans.
Now let me stop right there. Now, many of you, how many of you seen this? This is one of those skippable ads right here on YouTube. Sometimes this ad is on my videos. Yeah, this is that guy. Let's hear what he has to say.
It's just that simple.
That's a down. Very good boy, Eddie.
I come from a family of animal trainers, and I've dedicated my life to training dogs. And now I'm going to share my most valuable methods and techniques with you. I'm going to teach you 7 common commands. Sit, stay, down, come, off, heel, and no that you'll be asking your dog to do almost every day, guaranteed. And I'll be going over how to eliminate these behavioral problems that most dogs have, like chewing, excessive barking, even house training.
Come on.
The techniques that I'll teach you are things that anyone can do. Dog training is not about dominance. It's about trust, technique, and conditioning.
There's a really easy way to stop excessive barking. You can do it with something as simple as that little contraption I use right there, the penny bottle. I'm gonna simply step on the leash right here. I wanna say the word off as she jumps. Off, off, and then wait her out, off. This is what I wanna see. 3, 2, that's an off. Good.
Oh, and give it food. So it's all about manipulating this food-obsessed mutt. Teach it how to do tricks, right? So it's all about, taking advantage of the food obsession in these creatures, which is unusual and abnormal. For those who don't know, dogs are abnormally obsessed with food, right?
Before you decide to train your dog, you have to get that dog to trust you. My dog, Lulu, she did not come up to me for nearly 4 years. When my Jack Russell died, Lulu crawled in my lap. From that moment, Lulu was a lot easier to train. It just takes a little bit of time and a lot of authenticity. If you combine all these things together, you'll not only have a well-trained dog, but you'll have a best friend who trusts and loves you.
Oh, stop it. He said that this is not about dominance. It's very much about dominance. you can see how much of a control freak this man is. And you find this with a lot of these dog nuts. They are so obsessed with control and power. These are the biggest narcs in the country. Many of you work with idiots like this, and you cannot stand to be around them. They always have to be in control. They feel like they run the show always, no matter if it's just you and them having a discussion or if it's a group of people. They feel like they should be the center of attention. And they get off on having some type of superiority over other people, whether it be physical or intellectual. They are that way because they are very fragile, insecure people. And they feel the need to compensate for their sense of inadequacy. So they try to some way put other people beneath themselves. And when I watch stuff like this, it is so bizarre to me. Like, what makes these people so obsessed with dogs? The love, the passion, the obsession with these things is unparalleled. Nothing else measures up to it. These people are not obsessed like this with anything else on the planet, which tells me that these are self-hating people. Self-hating people. Why aren't you obsessed with a reflection of yourself, like your children, like the future generation? Right? You don't see these people making commercials, institutions, programs, or anything like that for children. It's always for dogs. Dogs, dogs, dogs. Now, all this idiot is talking about is how to get a mutt to perform tricks and to obey you, to basically get the dog adapted to expecting food. Say down, 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 and once the dog does sit down, then you give it something to eat, so that the dog knows that when it hears down, it's going to get something to eat. That's all training is about. So yet another failure. All these so-called experts are failures. Now, this article, I just found this. It was written 3 years ago, but I just found it here recently. And I thought that there was about to be a revolution here among these dog nuts. I knew this was a dog nut as soon as I read the title. But I thought to myself, there is no way this person is going to be honest. And I was right. But they started off sort of honest. Stop dog attacks on kids. Do your part as a parent or owner. Right? And she or he, I don't know if it's a man or woman, actually pointed out something that very few of them point out. This person has done the research. And who knows, they may have come across my channel. But they point out that on average, about 4.5 million people are bitten by dogs every year. They also point out that over half are kids. 2.25 million kids bitten every year. Also point out, the usual statistics. 1 out of 5 require medical attention. And talks about how surprised that they are that over 450,000 need emergency care treatment, right? So this person goes on, is talking about how alarming the statistics are. And this is, part of the problem. A lot of these dog nuts are very ignorant of the facts. They just are not aware of how often kids are attacked. Literally nothing on this planet attacks kids more than dogs, and it's not even close. So this person points out the statistics. So far, I'm impressed. I'm like, wow, this is not something I expected from a dog nut, to actually acknowledge the facts, right? That's all we deal with here on this channel, facts. But once again, if you're a dog nut, you're going to slip into dog nuttery. They are all loyal to the dog nut culture of lies, deception, and being detached from reality, putting forth arguments that have no support by reality, by news reports, or by actual footage of attacks. And of course, this person points out how the primary issue is supervision. And they start off for parents, your kids need to know how to act around dogs. There's no hope. People, there is absolutely no hope for these dog nuts. You can't depend on these people. The only solution is the extermination of dogs. That is the only thing that will heal these dog nuts' brains. These people have deformed brains. They're brainwashed, and I just think in general brain damaged. So this person starts off talking about the kids. It's the kids' fault. They did something. A child may have good intentions when attempting to interact with the dog, but the dog will sometimes see their interaction as a sort of threat. And man, that's another thing. The fact that these deadly, lethal creatures interpret any and everything as an attack against them is unacceptable. Totally it's bad enough if the thing is lethal. You telling me on top of that, this thing interprets everything as a threat? Constantly think that somebody is out to harm it? On top of that, this lethal creature with a mind of its own that you can't communicate using language, can't communicate with using language. On top of that, they'll attack in response to a noise, a high-pitched sound. They'll attack in response to seeing you move too fast. Stop it. There is no argument to justify the presence of dogs in this society. This is a very easy argument for me to argue that dogs should be exterminated. This is really common sense. So this person goes on and on and on. They're still talking about the behavior of the kids right now. How to introduce, how to teach the kids to hug these worthless, ugly, stinking, nasty mutts. Kids, do not be afraid to view dogs as disgusting. Kids in general, they know full well dogs are disgusting. They're turned off by dogs. They don't like them. We've heard many kids right here on YouTube talking about how they don't like dogs. And it's interesting because of how so many of these kids, they're whispering in these videos. They don't want anybody to hear them. They know at a very early age that they'll be ridiculed for saying anything negative about dogs, for being honest about what they think about dogs. Look at this, how to safely approach a dog. Talking about you need to teach kids how to safely approach dogs. There is no safe way to approach no mutt. Approaching a dog itself is dangerous, is a gamble. Flat out, I don't care if it's on a leash. I don't care if an adult is standing there holding a leash. You are taking a gamble. It is Russian roulette. The dog just might attack you. So this person rambles on for a very long time. How to properly play with dogs. They're still talking about how the kids need to behave. Look at how long this article is. Teach your kids not to do the following. Drag the dog by its tail. How many videos have you seen where a child is dragging a mutt by its tail? You never see these scenarios play out. You don't see it anywhere. What are these people talking about? Steal the dog's toy. Hit or pretend to hit the dog. We don't see this. Ride on the dog like it's a horse. Now, the toddlers who do that, they were placed on those dogs' backs by an adult. So if later on the child tries to ride on the dog's back, where did the child learn that from? Learned it from the adult. So once again, you can't blame the kids for that. This is a very sick cult. These people teach kids to do certain things and then blame those kids for doing the same thing that they were taught to do. So this guy or girl rambling on, and they're still talking about the kids' behavior in this article. It's unbelievable. In the event that things go wrong, despite the precaution taken, they're talking about what the child should do if they encounter an aggressive dog. Other precautions. At the end of the day, very beneficial. Teach your children the basic tips. To teach your children these basic tips to avoid an unpleasant experience. Unpleasant experience. You mean like having their face ripped from their skull? That's the unpleasant experience you're talking about. I hate the way they minimize the severity of these attacks. These attacks on these kids are the most horrific, the most terrifying attacks on the planet. On the planet, they're the worst injuries for any doctor to see. Any doctor. Right? This is nightmarish stuff. And these sick people try their best to minimize it as best they can. See, the truth is, these people are sick. These dog nuts are sick. And they are having intimate
Buddy boyos.
relationships with dogs. Intimate relationships with dogs. Now, I believe someone sent this to me in an email. Listen to this.
To our next guest, who hasn't been lucky when it comes to finding love. She's Elizabeth Holt, and she has endured 4 failed engagements and has been out on over 200 dates, which haven't gone too well. But now she says, does she not, Ruthie, she has found the one.
Found the one. She's planning now to marry the love of her life, and he's with her today, her golden retriever, Logan.
Hey guys!
There you go. So she literally is going to marry her dog.
My name's Miliani, aka the Crazy Dog Lady. I'm just a Trinidadian girl, raised in Minnesota, lived in Los Angeles for the last 7 years, and just moved back to the Midwest, downtown Chicago, baby. I'm a model, love fashion, makeup, hair.
You're an airhead. You're a brain dead dog nut. You see some idiotic dame like this walking 2 big mutts, or some buffoon, male or female, adult or child, just know, understand that you are in danger. And if those dogs want to attack you, they can. There is nothing that these idiots can do to stop them.
Interior design, and country music. But my biggest love of all are dogs.
Look at that.
Some would say that I'm obsessed. Whatever.
What is this? What is this girl doing? What's going on here? You see that? This sick woman is putting food in between her legs. What is that all about? See, fellas, we don't want to acknowledge it, but these girls are behind closed doors doing some very freaky, nasty things with these dogs. I highly suggest you do not date women who own dogs. If you see a woman with a dog, I want you to assume that she is intimate with them. And I'm serious about being vocal about that, because we need to make these people feel ashamed for the behavior that they know they're engaged in. These are the type of things that they're doing. Do not trust a woman with a dog. And for the women, do not trust any man with a dog. Now watch this. Let me play that again. Fellas, do you want to kiss this woman? Do you want a French kiss this female? Just imagine she called her boyfriend, or her boyfriend walks into the room a couple minutes later, gives her a big fat kiss on the mouth. This is what you're dealing with. This is what you're ingesting when you date these females who are dog lovers. We have to put pressure on these nasty people. We are allowing them to get away with the most vile, disgusting types of behavior. These people's lifestyle is a complete abomination. It is an abomination. We cannot tolerate this anymore. Look at this. This is what they're doing behind closed doors with these dogs. This is what they're doing with these dogs. Look at this. Now, look at her. Look. This is serious. It's bad. We have all these women bragging. They brag about being single. They brag about having a dog rather than a boyfriend. Always taking pictures with their dogs. This is what they're doing behind closed doors. These nasty, nasty individuals are engaged in bestiality. Bestiality. And trust me, this is bestiality, what you're looking at. All this letting this mutt lick them in the mouth, on the face. These are all acts of bestiality. I don't care what anybody says. Now unfortunately, you can find these disgusting videos right here on YouTube. There are a lot of them. I believe I showed one here on one of these live streams. Very disturbing stuff where a bunch of Asian women, lightweight, just having interaction with these mutts. And this female says, people keep talking about the dog thing. Like I'm the only person who's ever done stuff with a dog. 3 in 4 women have done stuff with a dog. Most women on my page will agree. It's normal AF for a woman to be sexually attracted to them. Fellas, I want you to soak that in. Soak it in. I want you to soak it in. Some of these women may purchase a dog without the intention of becoming intimate with them. But once that dog gets into her home and she is in a particular mood and that mutt comes and buries its face in her crotch, you have to imagine that things might happen that she didn't intend to happen before she bought it. The bottom line is, it had no business in her home to begin with. So you cannot trust anyone. I'm talking about males or females. I've been given stories by women right here on this channel, personal stories of boyfriends that they've had to break up with because these boyfriends sleep in the bed. They allow the dogs to sleep in the bed with them. In the bed. And this one woman was saying how she could not sleep with him anymore, even if he got the dogs off the bed, because it's just nasty, dander all over the place. She could no longer ride in his vehicle, and she eventually broke up with him because of the dogs. But this is scary stuff. Now, of course, this woman does not know if it's really 3 and 4 women, but to hear a woman say that is alarming to me, because you have to assume that she has talked to other women about it, right? The discussion has been had at some point. So we need to be aware that a great chunk of these dog nuts, they are involved in this type of behavior. What is it? Dogs before dudes. Dogs before dudes. Oh, number of confessions are available online, as we all know. Again, just do a Google search. Number of these people have confessed. The confessions are all over the internet. This is a girl who got in the mood. The dog started humping on her legs and she got in the mood. She had actual intercourse with a mutt. They're going to hide this behind closed doors. This is going to be their little dark secret. And this might seem, people, this to me is also bestiality. I don't care what anybody says. This is a filthy creature that shouldn't even be inside the home. And this is what they do behind closed. This is disgusting. Absolute and weird. So weird. It's bad when people lose all shame, have no shame whatsoever, and they freely, comfortably engage in this type of behavior. So we need to be aware of the mentality of the people we're dealing with. Here goes some more weirdness. This video actually is dealing with the dog pill. I don't know how many people, I probably need to talk about that eventually. Dog pill is a new terminology that they use. So we're only talking about dog attacks, how dangerous these things are, but we're going to have to get into how unsanitary they are as well. Yes, I agree, and we should. Somebody said whenever they see people with dogs, they always assume that they're into this type of behavior. We have to assume that. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to be safe than sorry. I see a lot of attractive women with dogs. It's very unfortunate. I feel so sorry for single people out here in the market looking for a mate, looking for someone, and they come across profile after profile of a man or a woman hugged up, kissed up with some nasty, stinking, ugly, worthless mutt. They are the majority, unfortunately. These people, yes, indeed, are mental wackos. They need help. Serious help. It's almost like they drift off into this world of their own, disconnected from the real world. And they become a dog nut, an official dog nut. I'm ashamed of my gender. Don't be ashamed of your gender, because look, there are probably just as many men engaged in this behavior as there is women. I could be wrong, but I've seen far too many men engaged in this. That Netflix series started out with a guy who I said was engaged in bestiality on the show. That guy who had that dog with 3 legs. I mean, this guy was overt with his affection for this mutt. And it was a female dog. You can just imagine what this guy does behind closed doors when he's alone with that mutt in the bed late at night. Are you kidding? Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, I question this 3 out of 4 women as well. I would doubt that it's 3 out of 4, but I would say that 3 out of 4 dog owners allow their dog to lick all over them. I would say that only about 1 out of 4 dog owners refuse to let their dog lick on them, lick their face, right? Dog wants to lick them in the face, they let them. You shouldn't even be at a level where a dog can reach your face. All right, if you want to sit down, you should only sit down when a dog is not even present. These people don't even try to be civilized. It's unbelievable stuff. Yes, and you can find a lot of videos online of these people getting it on with animals. And that's the scary part too. That tells you as well that it's pretty rampant. There's a whole industry that caters to these people. You know, the bestiality porn world. And there's, like I said, just as popular, if not more popular. Right? Somebody's watching it. Somebody's getting off on it. Most likely it's somebody who owns a dog. They watch enough of that stuff, they're going to eventually try something. Something. So this is scary stuff. Right? Thank you, Glenn. This guy. Yeah, we get a lot of trolls in here trying to check out the chat room. Yeah, but I hate it as well. Somebody said they hate seeing women with. I hate it as well. And they lose all points in my book when I see them with a dog. But it's so nasty and disgusting. Due to antibiotic resistant bacteria, and that is the type of bacteria you find in the mouths of these mutts. Due to antibiotic resistant bacteria, we are at the end of the antibiotic era. A dog bite resulting in non-grievous body harm can result in death by fatal bacteria infection caused by flesh-eating bacteria and organ shutdown bacteria. Many of you remember that, you know, a few people had to get their limbs amputated, but the condition that they suffer will also shut down their organs. This is another reason these things should be exterminated. They are absolutely disgusting. The benefits of using extermination services, right? You can look this up yourself. Now, they're just talking about extermination in general, not about dogs. But it says using extermination service ensures that pests do not cause further damage in your home. The company takes care of all the pests by using safe methods to ensure you and your family is not exposed. Furthermore, they get rid of the pest infestation quickly. You get more time to spend with your family. The same applies to dog extermination. And it is definitely something that should happen. Should happen. Talked about in the whole video how dogs impair the relationships between humans. All the energy expended on these mutts, just imagine if it was redirected to their own offspring, to their mate, husband or wife, to their co-workers, right? Redirect that energy to humans. That way you can actually help to evolve the human species. You know, the species that you belong to. Giving that energy to dogs does nothing for humans at all. Nothing. Does not benefit us, your family, your co-workers, people involved in your everyday life whatsoever. And somebody actually wrote this on Reddit. Said the harsh reality is that dogs don't have a place in modern human society because we no longer live in tribes, clans, and we no longer hunt and gather. That effectively eliminates pack activities for which the dog was originally domesticated. Now, I said a long time ago that this is primitive behavior. It's a primitive lifestyle. I made a video a long time ago, a few years ago. What did I say? I said it's like, the title is like dog lovers are cave people or modern cave people or something like that. I think it's over 200 videos on this channel. I forgot some of the early ones. But I've talked about this. I've been talking about this for years. There's absolutely no need for dogs. You know, originally, you're living out in a harsh environment, bunch of dangerous animals out there. Okay, maybe it'll benefit you to earn the trust of a mutt, and it can fight off a more dangerous animal. But this is the simple reality. Literally, no animal on this planet is as dangerous. No animal is as aggressive, right? I refer back to the example with the mountain lion. It was proven that they are not even as aggressive as dogs. Dogs are more aggressive than lions. They literally attack people more than any other living creature. They attack kids more than any other entity. They leave you with the most horrific injuries, right? They force you to visit the emergency room more than any other animal. You can't even compare dogs to any other animal when it comes to attacks on humans. Reconstructive surgeries. I don't think any other animal causes humans to require reconstructive surgery. It is only dogs. That is exclusive to dogs. And the injuries are horrific. They're hard to look at. And on top of all of that, these are the most disgusting creatures on the planet. They are the ugliest. They are the largest contributor of bacteria, of parasites, germs, of illness in general among humans. As the CDC explained, 3 out of 4 new diseases are zoonotic. The majority of new diseases among humans came from animals. If they come from animals, what animal do you think spreads it to humans most often? It's most likely the most popular animal. That is dogs. And dogs are more disgusting than any other animal. They are the bottom feeders of the planet. There's literally no argument in defense of their presence. If anybody believes that there is, go ahead and enlighten us all. No, they can't be food. You know, I made a video talking about how dogs can be useful. But a lot of people watched that video and they thought that I suggest that would eat dog. I don't eat meat at all. But even if I did eat meat, I would never eat no dog meat. But you see, I can't stop other people from eating meat. Other people are going to eat meat. And my thing is, okay, if you're going to eat meat, why don't you eat these dogs? You eat everything else, pigs, squirrels, frogs, right? Eat the dogs. If you're going to eat any of them, eat the most dangerous creatures, right? The most disgusting creatures. Put them on your plate, right? So I fully support these countries who eat dog meat, right? Just like we freely eat pigs and cows and other animals, they should be able to freely eat dogs, especially seeing the number of stray dogs over there. Terrorists should design a virus. Somebody said a terrorist should design a virus that infects dogs by airborne transmission. Recently, there was some type of disease, a new disease, exclusively affecting dogs. I don't know how many people read about that. Let me see. Disease, dogs. some type of bacterial disease. Outbreak of a deadly bacterial disease affecting dogs. And this was published 2020. Okay, let me share, I'm going to share this article as I look over it. Let me see here. Move to another window. Yes. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this now. An outbreak of leptospirosis, contagious bacterial disease, has been reported in dogs in the region of San Diego. Wow, this was reported December 2020, just a few months ago. So somebody mentioned the desire to see a disease that only affects dogs. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. And it's scary because if it becomes zoonotic, it's going to spread throughout the human population fast. Fast. Especially here in the United States, where the majority of people own dogs. Now, how many people read about the Joe Biden's mutt that bit one of his was it his security guard or something? Yeah, let me see. Dog bite. His dog that he named Major bit one of, what was it, one of his House representatives for retain, and it's supposed to get training now before it comes back. Joe Biden defends the dog as a sweet dog after this biting incident. Of course, what else do we expect? So we got this maniac dog nut in office. Can you believe this? Look at can y'all see this? This man is in there defiling the White House. He is disgracing the White House. How dare you bring some filthy mutts into the White House like that? That is very shameful. Very shameful. And this man gonna call this dog a sweet dog. Something that attacks me, bites me, rips my flesh. You gonna tell me it's a sweet creature? Again, these people totally detached from reality. Joe Biden defended his German Shepherd as a sweet dog who's adjusting to his new surroundings. Is that how dogs adjust to their new surroundings? By attacking people? Everything dogs do, they do it by attacking people. So this sweet dog, it has to adjust to its surroundings, so it has to attack you to adjust. Okay, that's dog nut logic. Is Major out of the doghouse? The answer is yes. Major was a rescue dog. The Major did not bite someone and penetrate the skin. What is this dude talking about? Okay, I'm not going to get into this dog nuttery from this nutty man who should have never been elected as the president. I'm trying to tell people, I tried to tell people, Joe Biden is a much worse president than Donald Trump. Much worse. And people we're starting to find that out already. Right? Already. But this idiot brings some mutts into the White House, and now they have attacked, I believe it was one of his security guards or something. Why would the President of the United States have rescue dogs? Rescue dogs. How dangerous is that? How irresponsible is that? The most dangerous dogs out there are in these shelters. Rescue mutts. And our president promotes this lifestyle. So people, there is no other solution. There is no training. You can't train these dogs to be harmless. There's nothing that you can do to the dog. There's nothing you can do to train people, right? Kids or adults. The bottom line is these are always, and they always will be, predators. Predators that are wired to attack, wired to kill. You simply don't bring creatures like that into your society. It's a shame that you don't have to tell deer this. They know it. Instinctually, they know. They know better. You don't have to tell any other non-predator not to bring predators in their midst. Unfortunately, you have to tell humans not to do this. These methods that these so-called experts come up with are worthless. The solution is not to look for signs of aggression. That does not work. As we all know, many of these mutts don't show signs. Many of these mutts are known for not showing signs of aggression. And that includes all of these bully breeds. They attack without warning. So that's no solution. And I don't care how many they list, listening for growling, watching their behavior to see whether or not they stiffen up, whether they lick their lips, to see whether or not you can see the white in their eyes. All nonsense. This doesn't work. The only solution available, the only solution possible is complete extermination. It has to happen one of these days, and I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Good riddance. Nobody will miss these dangerous, lethal, worthless mutts. And once these things are gone, not only will we see a much more safe environment, every human home will be safer. Every community will be safer. Not only that, we will enjoy cleaner water, a cleaner environment, and we will enjoy an improved state of our health in general, not just in the form of colds, or flu, things like that, but infections in general, skin infections. There's no telling how many, afflictions we deal with on our body that really comes from dogs. So our water will be cleaner, we will be safer, and humans will have better relationships with other humans. You cannot hide behind a dog anymore to get emotional support. You're not going to interact with a dog. You're not going to practice social interaction with a dog because it's a waste. You will be forced to practice with other humans. And that is exactly what people need. There is no other solution other than complete extermination. That's it. Like a dog. Dogs. Okay, we got another troll in here. Crazy, we just had open season for wolves. Who had open season for wolves? Was there an extermination of wolves? I need to check that out. That would be alarming if that's true. Because wolves generally don't bother people. They try to avoid humans. Yeah, but they'll exterminate any and every other animal on this planet. As we all know, they hunt certain animals for sport. And they would never dare hunt dogs for sport. Somebody said in Wisconsin for 2 days, they had open season on wolves. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's a good question. Why not dogs? Why not at least pit bulls? Right? Wow. Who is this? Uh, who is it? Iron Brubahoy? Is he a troll or is he just? What did he say? He said, "I like it when dogs sniff my balls." Okay, keep an eye on that joker. Dogs. Dogs lick her. People are attached to them. Yeah, people are attached to dogs. But the thing is, you can get attached. You can allow yourself to become attached to almost anything. It's all about what you open yourself up to. If you make a conscious decision to become attached to a stuffed animal, you will become attached to it. Because ultimately, it's about how you interact with that thing. So I don't buy this excuse that they throw out there that people love dogs, they're attached to their dogs, that they need the dogs for emotional support, or any of that nonsense. The truth is, you make the decision. You are the one manipulating your own emotions by opening yourself up to these dogs. These dogs don't do anything special whatsoever. They don't have any type of magic. They're not doing anything to or for you. It's all you. And after these mutts are gone, you're going to be forced to become attached to something else. Hopefully, it's some human somewhere. But if not, hey, go get attached to a tree. Something that's harmless, that's not going to attack people. Right? That's the kind of world we need. Not a world where people primarily want to become attached to a lethal predator. Lethal predator. And then say that you're irresponsible if you don't train that predator to not attack people. Right? This crazy world where they tell people that a responsible dog owner is one who trains the mutt not to maul people on sight. You telling me that it's not child endangerment to bring kids around something like this? Please, extermination is the only answer. It is the only answer. Yeah, I believe Joe Biden is a closet Nazi as well. He's probably more overt with it than Donald Trump. But definitely Donald Trump has more respect from me just because of his stance on dogs. I don't care about I don't care about anybody being racist. I don't care what people think about me. But there were no mutts up in the White House, right? And he openly spoke out against dog nuts. This is something most people in general not brave enough to do. Yes, dogs are cowards. Like I said, dogs are violent cowards. They're always scared of something. Exactly. They're supposed to be so big and bad and so tough, yet they're scared of they're always getting scared and paranoid, thinking somebody is out to get them. So a lot of times when they bite, it's a defensive tactic. They're trying to defend themselves because they're terrified. The most mentally unstable animals on the planet. That's a bad combination. When you're deadly and mentally unstable, a loose cannon. It is madness on our part to legalize these things and especially to treat them the way we treat them in this society. So again, I had to go and find the experts and force them to plead their case because you real experts, you're too much of a coward to come onto this platform. You don't have to have a live debate. I've told you, go ahead and write it out in an email. Write it out in the comment section. These things should be exterminated. completely exterminated. They do not have any place in human territory whatsoever, right? So I want to thank everyone who joined this stream, contributed to this channel. Very much appreciated. Join me next time. I'm sure it will be next weekend. I'm in the process of putting together another stream already as we continue with this ruthless crusade against these worthless mutants and their enablers.